there is a mismatch between her bikini and her pantsuit underneath. She is wearing shimapan, but the upper bikini is like black, not blue stripes, you know. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven from X Kurogani Studio with your weekly figure news fix, this time around 23rd to 28th of February 2026. And for this week, very chill week for both genuine and third-party figures. Not many new stuff, and sometimes I do have to wonder, how do figure companies decide which week is an auspicious week? Which week has good Fengshui? So we all pre-order open the same stuff on the same week, on the same day, and choose not to pre-order open stuff on the same week as well, which is this week. Anyways, we shall check out Hobby Link Japan for genuine PVC figures first for our first section right here. And before I proceed, there are 3 figures over here which has already pre-order closed. So I'll just give them a quick mention. These are re-releases by a Chinese brand called Ascendia. Amethyst illustration by Daphne, 19,500 yen. Pre-order opened on the 24th. Pre-order opened last day, 27th of February, because this is a limited period of re-release or pre-order. Only 3 days for you guys to pre-order it. And this is coming out in April. Yeah, barely a month, 2 months later. The same thing can be said for this one over here. 1/6 scale Hatane Rona illustration by Oshi Sashiburi. 14,000 yen, 3 days pre-order window. And the third one here, Moma Komurasaki Bani version illustration by the same artist. 6,000 yen, low budget figure. Also 3 days of pre-order. And I do remember seeing this figure still available in Taobao at least. Yeah, so not exactly that rare. Moving on to the new stuff available this week. So we only have 2 pages over here on Hobby Link Japan, and some of them are plushies. Moving on to our first statue over here. What the heck, man? Prime 1 Studio Ultimate Diorama Masterline Attack on Titan The Rumbling, 375,000 yen. Releasing in October 2027. And at the time of recording, they have not listed Blackrock Shooter yet, so we'll cover her at OSGK later on. There are 2 new figures from Prime 1 Studio this week. So 375k for this diorama. Definitely not my thing. 64 centimeters by 1 meters by 70. It is still a huge statue, but this looks like a huge fish skeleton of some kind. Anyways, moving on to the next one, we do have a 1/4 scale by Freeing that is not a bunny girl, at least. Shinobi Master Senran Kagura New Link Yumi Bondage Maid version, 36,000 yen, August release. Alright, not bad, Freeing, not bad. At least it is not a bunny girl. Just that this is mostly a subjective complaint of mine. Colors are bland and dull because most of the outfit is black color and the color of her hair is like bluish gray, you know, not very nice to look at. But regardless, my bigger problem over here, which is also subjective, is that there is a mismatch between her bikini and her pantsuit underneath. She is wearing shimapan, but the upper bikini is like black, not blue stripes, you know. I know a lot of women out there, your undergarment, both top and bottom, you don't really match them, right? And this is purely an aesthetic issue. Some people only care about the practical aspect of what they wear. They don't care if the aesthetic part is not that good. But I'm still gonna complain because this is an anime figure. It is supposed to be a piece of art, a sculpture, so it needs to look aesthetic. So what do you think? I do feel like the top bikini at least needs to have the blue stripe just like the bottom one. That's what I think over here. And there is another figure coming up perhaps next week, that green hair girl, which I'm not quite sure what her name is. I don't really play Senran Kagura. Probably will cost 36,000 yen as well. And this is coming out this August. Right, moving on to the next one right here. This figure has 2 versions as usual. Daiki Kogyo has been doing this for a while. 1/6 scale Shiho Miyamae after school back illustration by Jack Dempa. Wholesome version means this is not customable. They glued all of the parts together. Right, this is all you get for 26,000 yen, July release. Yep, this July. And there is a cast-off version in Ami Ami's age restricted section. So this one right here, Army exclusive bonus, you're getting that print over there for 28,600 yen. And I don't like this figure at all. The reason is because, number one, the pose looks really weird, though I do understand that they are just following the artwork as closely as possible, but I think there are some differences, I'm not too sure. The artwork looks really nice, but it is not translating very well into a 3D object, into a figure, especially in this case where it almost feels like she's wearing Pampers. Something that babies wear, in case they shit in their pants, something like that. So the reason for this is because the pantsuit is castable, is removable, so the material needs to be thick enough so that it does not break easily. And as a result, the pantsuit she's wearing looks really thick, really bulky, unlike the artwork over there. I know this is a limitation when you translate a 2D artwork into a 3D figure that is customable, but it still looks really weird to me, so I'm not a fan of this at all. Moving up to the next one, we have Poi Poi Anime, 1/6 skill Diablos Core Kunlun SP special shooting training for just under 17,000 yen. Great value, considering you're getting the figure and that base over there. This is exceptionally cheap. December release. I do have to wonder if Poi Poi Anime has something to do with H-Boy. In case you are not aware of, there is this website called hboy.net. It is a bit like an anime figure forum where people can share pictures of anime figures. Basically like the Chinese version of myfigurecollection.net. And they are also a figure store, right? Based somewhere in Guangzhou, I think, in China. The name over here, I just had to wonder, Poi Poi Anime. But anyways, I'm trying to make sense of the pose over here. It looks like pole dancing to me, right? Except that is not something you see pole dancers do. More like, is she holding a snooker stick? It looks like that to me. And the snooker table has been sliced in half. Yeah, I think it is a snooker table. Alright. Pole dancing on top of a snooker desk. But this is Guna material, which I'm sure a lot of figure collectors are going to enjoy this one. Not just because of her body proportions, but also because of how unique the pose is. Yes, and I do admit that I like this figure a lot simply because it is very different from many other figures out there in terms of the pose. But I do have to think about whether I should get this one and review it, because I am really interested. And speaking of Diablos Core, I think it is competing with Brown Dust 2 for being one of the hottest Guna games in the recent 1 year or so. Not as big as Azalin or Nikkei in fame, but their popularity is rising, yeah. Moving up next, by Fat Company, 1/6 skill Atelier Yumiya. Yumiya Lisfeld playing in the water version, basically just swimsuit version, with a really good pose. At least this does not feel like a boring swimsuit figure. 24,364 yen, releasing in February next year. Well, if you like her, I think this is a really good purchase. Interesting face expression, interesting pose. This is what swimsuit figures should be like, not plain bikini and then just standing there doing nothing or a really simple pose. This is something I like to see, except the price is really high for what it is. Okay, let me take that back. I think the price is reasonable. I've forgotten this is 1/6, not 1/7. Because Fat Company does not have many 1/6 scale figures. So 1/6 scale with that base, the bucket, and swimsuit, alright, fair enough. Can be cheaper, but fair enough. Moving on to the next one, there are two versions of this figure by Solarain. 1/6 scale, a certain scientific railgun T, Misaki Shokuho, Negligi version. We saw this figure in One Fest. And this is the plushie set for 23,000 yen, almost, releasing this August. And there is also the standard version at just under 20,000 yen. Well, get the plushie set, right? I would take any merchandise over a wall scroll. I would take Oppai mousepad. I would take a plushie. I would take an acrylic stand. Yeah, because I can display it next to my figure in a shelf, right? As for my favorite Shokuho Misaki figure, well, I can only remember the one made by Alter. That one bargain bin, the one she's wearing a school swimsuit, I think. A blue color school swimsuit. That one bargain bin. Are there any figures of her? I can't recall at the moment. And speaking of Railgun series, I think the manga is ending soon after 20 whole years. That is what I saw in the news back then, like a few hours ago on the internet, in fact. And it is always a sad thing when a manga or an anime that is fairly popular ends. But guess what? 20 years is a lot of material. I think they would need 10 anime seasons at the minimum to finish it. I don't know. And I hope that they adapt the whole thing. I really hope that. JC staff, please keep doing new seasons of Railgun. I know season 4 is coming, but keep doing it. Moving up to the next figure right here by Kadokawa, 1/7 skill sentenced to be a hero Theorita. 22,500 yen, November release. And that is expensive in my opinion, but I feel like I need to keep adjusting my expectations on figure prices because the Japanese yen keep going down, 40,000 yen just a year ago and 40,000 yen today. When converted into my currency, the difference is insane. $50 worth of difference, like just a year of gap, and 40,000 yen is $50 cheaper in my currency after conversion today. Yeah. So they have to increase the price. So what is considered to be cheap is no longer cheap today if you look in Japanese yen, but when you convert it to your own currency, I think the prices have barely changed that much, less than 10%. Yes, so a lot of math going on in my brains. Maybe this is a good price today in 2026, I don't know, yeah. And for Kadokawa, it is a weird one because, some of their figures are available in HLJ, some are not. And I'm not sure why or how they decide which one is available or not. This one happens to be available in HLJ. The same thing can be said for the next figure here. 1/7 skill playing death games to put food on the table, Yuki, 22k January release. This is a bit nicer than the one that went on pre-order a week or 2 weeks ago. Was it by Design Coco or Kotobuki? I can't remember. I think it was Design Coco. This one is a bit nicer, but the prices are not too different between the two. Same opinion. It feels expensive, but I guess that I need to convert it into my own currency, or even into US dollars to be really sure that whether the price here is normal or too expensive. Well, I'm still unable to decide whether to watch the anime or not because I did not like the animation style on this one. Moving on to the next one, this is a weird one, right? So Hobbymax is re-releasing this 1/7 skill Shikinami, Asuka Langley, Radio Era Part 2, original color, 19,500 yen, November release. And HLJ has only listed this like partially black and white version. Meanwhile, the other version over here, this normal color version, I could not find the listing on HLJ, but it is on Army. Similar price. I think this is a bit cheaper, 19,300 yen, so maybe this is where you get the figure. And I'm quite surprised by the re-release because, every Radio Eva figure released by Hobbymax so far, they're not exactly that hard to find, but I suppose that is limited to China. Not that hard to find in China, in Taobao, but everywhere else, maybe the demand is high enough to warrant a re-release. Maybe they are making their decisions on whether to re-release something based on the demand in Japan itself, domestic Japan. Everywhere else outside of Japan is not even a factor. That is usually the case. So with this Asuka figure, I really like it a lot, but the priority is so low that I feel like I should keep buying the gacha game characters first rather than spending money on these anime characters. Yeah. Moving up next, re-release of Kana Arima from Oshi Noko by Kotobukiya, 17,000 yen, August release. Season 3 has been incredible so far. I think you should watch the series if you have never watched it before. Start from Season 1, obviously. And are they planning to make a limited edition brown skin version? The meme I've been seeing on the internet where they made Kana Arima really dark. And I'm not quite sure about the context behind that meme. But I'm sure it has something to do with how people dislike her because she's always crying and making things worse for the main character. But come on, man, this is a teenage girl, right? And she is just behaving the way a normal teenage girl will behave, right? I still like her as a character. I still like her a lot. I don't hate her. I don't hate her at all. In fact, I just couldn't decide whether I like Kana Arima more or Akane more. I like both for different reasons. Okay, I'm moving on to the next one. Kotobukiya again, 1/8 skill Kyo Kusanagi from KOF 98, 20,000 yen, September release. Yeah, prices are going up. You know, Kotobukiya's 1/8 skill figures, you know, their art FX used to cost 12 to 15k, 20k. It is such a shame that 1/8 skill is still a thing today, but they need to maintain the consistency of the skill across the same product line, I suppose. And next one here by Sentinel, 1/8 skill, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Battle Tendency Figure Museum Joseph Joestar Special Color. Nice color, nice ass. 18,000 yen, January release. Like, that is seriously a nice pose. 26 centimeters. You see, 1/8 scale, but 26 centimeters. Because if they made this into 1/7 or 1/6 scale, then the price would be higher than 20k. So the way figure brands decide what scale to go with, I believe it is based on the target price they're planning to sell the figure with. In this case, I think they're targeting to sell the figure at 20,000 yen, including the Japanese tax. The same thing with Alter, you see, their FGO female character figures are 1/7, but the male characters are 1/8. Because if the males are also 1/7, then they won't be able to sell each of them under 30k. Yeah. I still don't like this though. I would rather the scale to be the same, even if the figure sizes, like the height, are different, because at least the male characters don't look like dwarfs next to the female characters. I would pay more for matching scales. Moving up next, we have a couple of pop-up parades here. Chocola and also Vanilla as a set, right? This picture right here. Pop-up parade L from Nekopara. Almost 9,000 yen each, September release. They call this the winter clothes version, which is a really nice version if you ask me. I think this pack is worth picking up if you ask me should I get them or not. Because Nekopara, some of their better scale figures, and I feel like I need to bring up the native ones, they are very expensive, and that is also an understatement. The aftermarket values on those are insane, partly because they are customable. And then there's everything else in between. I think the binding 1/4 skills are also very expensive, but if you have a lower budget, then I think this pair of figures is worth going for. Yeah. And the last, no, not the last figure. Yep, the last figure. This is Vanilla, 9,000 yen. And the last figure on HLJ here is by Kotobukiya, 1/7 scale, low budget figure, Ishizu Ishtar, Oshi Works, right? Their low budget line of figure, they're calling it Oshi Works, 8,000 yen. And the height is actually not bad, because it is 1/7 scale. They have the height here, 23 centimeters, August release. If Kotobukiya makes something that I like, I might give it a try just to find out what the quality is like. But so far, their Oshi Works stuff are not the figures that I'm interested in. Now we move on to Ami for our next section here. So if you're finding this video informative or helpful so far, please do give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. And as usual, if you want to support this channel and you are a regular HLJ or OSGK user, please do make use of my links down in the description below to enter these websites and buy stuff. That is how to support this channel. Because for each sale or pre-order you make, I take a small commission. Yeah. So you pay the same price, you're not paying an extra yen at all, but a small percentage of the sale goes to the content creator that you support. So continuing here on Ami, this one is not yet on HLJ, but please HLJ, please pre-order, open this one. This is a really good figure of HK416, right? They're calling her Klukai Casual Wear Speedstar. This is like her name in Girls Frontline 2 Exilum. In GFL2, every character is getting their own name, not just the model number of their weapon or firearm. This one is just under 22,000 yen only after a discount. December 2026 release. Alright, there has been so many incredible HK416 figures in the past that I couldn't decide which is my favorite. You know, the Apex Toys one that went on pre-order not long ago. Was it a month ago? The one that comes with a dog next to her, a mecha dog. I liked that one a lot. And I would say that the ones made by other Chinese brands like Hobby Max or even Fat Company, Japanese brand, I liked every single one of them. But if you ask me which one is my favorite, I'm not sure how to choose which is my favorite because I like every single one of them for different reasons. This one, I don't find the pose to be pretty attractive. No body turn around poses, I love that. Price is very reasonable, and if you ask me, is BB Buttons any good? Big yes. Their figures are incredible. A very new brand, like 2 years, 3 years old, very new brand, does not release many figures. They make premium figures that are between 20 to 25,000 yen. But since their very first release years ago until today, I checked out user pictures and I was pretty impressed by what they are making. Just that I don't have enough money to buy everything, like every figure from every brand to review them. Eventually I will, just a matter of when, but this brand is doing good stuff. That is all you need to know. Moving on to the next one by Kadokawa. See? The 2 Kadokawa figures I covered earlier, they are available on HLJ, but not this one. And I'm not sure why, because it is not an Ami exclusive, apparently. KD call Isekai Jojo Universal Body Nemophila. No idea what is this. 1/7 scale, almost 25,000 yen after discount. So Ami is discounting a bit more than the Japanese tax. Yeah, 2,700 yen of discount, but the tax is like 2,400 yen just to encourage people to pre-order it. Releasing in January 2027. We saw this in One Fest, and I think 25k is not a bad price at all, considering you're getting a very nice couch over there with texture, right? As a piece of art, beautiful, but I don't know what the character is, and I don't find her to be particularly that attractive to me. And moving on to the next one, this is apparently a safe for work figure on Ami's front page. Anyways, Hobby Rangers low budget Chinese figure brand. We don't hear about them often, but they make low budget PVC figures. 1/4 scale studios discipline committee member. Try to brain that for a second. A disciplinary committee member dressed up like this. I think she must be from Nokitashi the animation. 11,000 yen only at 1/4 scale, November 2026. Man, I wish that we get more JK figures like this at a low price. And we get to peel up that piece of cloth over there. That would be a big win. But this is a Chinese brand. I don't think I don't think they are letting us do that. Last figure for this week is from Ami's age restricted section. So we covered that Daiki Kogyo figure earlier in the age restricted section. And the second one is this one. Binding Creators Opinion Miya-chan Bani version 1/4 scale, 44k, standard pricing at this point, and releasing in August 2026. So my comment for this one is simple. I like her face, but too fat for me. Not my kind of thing. I know there are people out there who love stuff like this, but this is way too big for me. In all dimensions, not just the oppai. Even the legs, the thighs are way too big. Go and check out the pictures yourself because I couldn't show it on YouTube for obvious reasons. And our last stop is Ninin Game. 3 figures this week. Kasugai Shizune Train Temptation 1/6 scale by Insight, 22k, releasing in September. The next one here, Shizuka Hanagi. Okay. My friend's older sister. Now this character reminds me of a specific character I used to watch in this romance anime. What's the name again? Anyways, very familiar. The face at least, and the haircut. 22,000 yen, releasing in September. And the last one here, Naol-chan sitting version 1/5 scale, 24,000 yen, releasing in November. Interesting, November for this one. So with Insight, Be Full, Forge Japan, my comments is simple and the same every time. Avoid them if you can, unless you are a masochist. And that is all for genuine figures on pre-order this week. Let's move on to third-party resin figures. Not too many either. We don't have any GB figures this week. No Anyas or any kind of other GB figures. No life-sized waifus and also no original characters. So we move straight to anime characters section. The first one here, Cookie Studio Freeman Sleeping. $62 and the scale is 1/6, so it should be quite big. Releasing in June. This could have been a $20 or $25 price figure if you ask me. So even at a low price of $60, I'm not sure if I can justify it. 15 cm. Okay, that's for the figure, I suppose. Yeah, I feel like this should be made into a price figure instead, because there are no advantages to make something like this into a resin figure, which is a more expensive material, heavier as well, and capable of replicating more details compared to the material PVC. So if you were to make this figure in PVC or in resin, the amount of details you're getting is roughly similar, except the resin one is heavier and more expensive for no reason. So this one being made into resin figure is not a good idea in my opinion. Yeah. Moving on to the next one here, JW Studio Videl from Dragon Ball, $75 only, 1/6 scale, releasing in April, less than 2 months away. Yeah, one of those low budget resin figures. I do wonder if low budget resin figures under $100 are still common today, not very common anymore. And next one over here, CC from Code Geass in Kimono by Sariel Studio. $278 is overpriced in my opinion. That is despite the base over there and also the umbrella, it still feels a tad bit overpriced to me. Releasing in December. Most third parties, they have no problem getting her face right, this character CC. Nice base, but I can't help but feel that this should be like $240 or so. $278 is a bit too much. Otherwise, a very nice figure, heavy shading on the hair. I love this kind of paintwork. Moving on to the next one from Chenyu Studio with Madoka and Homura from Puella Magi Madoka. $435 as a set at 1/6 scale, or you can get either one separately for $242, which obviously is not good value because you're paying like, how much? $480 if you multiply that by 2, you get the set, you get a $50 discount of some kind. So obviously you get the set over here, and the height is 30 centimeters. Okay, that is including the base. Relatively big though for 1/6 scale figure. I'm actually happy to see resin figure brands make stuff like this, anime characters, anime eyes, not a realistic face conversion. They are staying loyal to the original character designs, and I really appreciate that. This pair is a really nice pair of figures for Puella Magi Madoka fans. You should check this one out. Though I can't say anything about this brand, Chenyu Studio, I have no experience. Moving on to the next one, Chujian Studio Resin version 2.0 from Chainsaw Man. $195. There are two versions. The one in black stocking over here, which is the one I prefer, and there is a barrel leg version, I believe, at the same price. There we go. Tough choice because both actually look great. I couldn't decide which is better, but I feel like black stockings is the more natural one over here. Face is incredible. Like, there's nothing I would change about the face. They got the face so right over here. Beautiful face, and it is no surprise that this figure went, I wouldn't say went viral, more like she's relatively popular over in my Facebook page. Many people shared this figure. $195 is reasonable considering this big piece over here, the dress and the... Well, if I think about it, this is like a bunny suit without the bunny ears and an extra piece of dress. Still very nice regardless. Moving on to the next one right here from Praman Studio. Yep, their second figure on pre-order this week. This is very expensive. Is this like the most expensive 1/4 scale by Praman Studio? I'm not too sure, but $16.99. $1,700 is a lot of money. Ultimate Premium Masterline Blackrock Shooter. And you know what? I kind of want this badly. I have always been a Blackrock Shooter fan, but $1,700, I couldn't justify that. Complete package figure, right? Diorama base, huge cannon, and flame effect. I'm not a fan of effect parts. You guys should know if you watch my videos regularly, but this effect part over here is pretty nice. And if it has LEDs, I think it has. Why not, right? Okay, the cannon has to be really heavy, but it is supported by the flame effect parts. Is this my favorite Blackrock Shooter figure? I'm not too sure. I feel like I like the Spiritual one a lot more, the one with the huge bike, right? I really want to buy that one, but it is so expensive. But this is in second place, I think. Yeah, Definitely a main highlight this week for $1,700, and even the standard version, the regular version, is already $1,400. $1,500, okay, $200 difference. So if you are planning to spend at least $1,500 on a statue like this, why save that $200, right? It is not a big amount. An additional like 20%, go all out, get the DX version. Moving on to the next one here. Now we are moving into like game character section, both game and anime. This one has an anime adaptation, right? Gakuen Aimasu. So this is Kotone Fujita 1x6 scale by Little Witch Studio. 329 for a 1x6 scale that is not even customable. You're just getting this fan service over here and nothing else. Yes, you're getting that sofa, but it is overpriced. This is overpriced. This should be like $250 max. At this price, it should be 1x5 scale or something. So the face is really nice. The face is really accurate to the character if I compare it to the actual character design, but the price is way too high for this one. Next up here, two Gunner figures from Genius B Studio. And you know what? I really want this Furina really badly. For private enjoyment. It is not like I can review this on YouTube, right? Furina Bunny Girl from Genshin Impact, and that is all I can show you on YouTube. Basically, missionary position, and this one is actually customable, right? Whatever parts they applied to the figure to cover up her parts, her private parts, you can remove it. This is customable. $299 at 1x4 scale. Oh, yeah. That is a great price for 1x4 scale. I mean, if I were to get something like this, yeah, I would go all out 1x4. And what about the 1x7? $191. Okay, reasonable, I guess. I would tell you to get the 1x4, and her face is so nice, pretty, perfect even. Next one here by Genius B Studio, a similar figure, reverse bunny, Hadaka, and you can cast it off as well. Firefly from Honkai Star Rail, and the face she's giving is the kind of face where she has been addicted to making babies after being forcefully made to do so with 100 men or something. We see this theme in some H anime, right? Yeah, similar face expression over here. $310 at 1x4 scale. 1x7 is $185. This is quite nice as well. And between this and Furina earlier, I like Furina a tad bit more. Yes, this one has bigger oppai, but I still like Furina a tad bit more. So moving up to the next one here, we have New Age Studio 1x6, right? No scale mentioned here. Could be 1.6 or 1.7. Kiana Kaslana from Honkai Impact. Version A is $223. Version B, $199, where she's not wearing the office outfit, just black bikini, and you can get both for $384. Okay. Releasing in September. So the face is really nice, getting two face expressions. In my opinion though, I would take the version A. Is that office outfit again? Yep, I think this is like office wear. I would take version A and be done with it. I don't need two of the same figure that is only slightly different. But the face here is perfect. Not to mention, the office version comes with the Ahegao face, so that is all I need. Moving on to the next one, we have DY Studio Pilopsis or Pilopsis. How do you pronounce her name? From Arknights. $221 releasing in September, and this is a 1x7 scale, so it feels kinda pricey, and the pictures provided by the brand over here is not exactly confidence-inducing. They need to take better pictures. Lighting is very flat, and I mean, I can tell the figure is decent, the face is nice, but when you look at the pictures over here, the official pictures, you don't feel like you want the figure badly. That's what I'm trying to say. So, nah, I'm not impressed by this one. And DY Studio, yeah, no idea who they are either. This one is releasing in September. Moving up to the next one from Migin Studio. They have two new figures this week. The first one is Hack Claw from Delta Force, a game. $400 at 1x4 scale, reasonable. September release, and you are getting a chibi figure from the looks of it. It is like a pre-order bonus of some kind. Realistic face, but is this really from Delta Force? I feel like this is from, yes, Arknights. You know the character W? I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing her name correctly. That is the same hair, man. The same cockroach antenna, as I call it. The hairstyle is the same. A pair of red color cockroach antennas. That is W from Arknights, but realistic face. Details are really nice. I think the price is reasonable, $400, but I just couldn't overlook the fact that this reminds me of an Arknights character. Like, releasing in September as well. The second Minion Studio figure this week is Yvonne from Arknights Enfield, $212. So my advice is simple: go and get the Mietos one. And I myself, I will be getting one as well. Get the Mietos one first. But in case you are really enjoying her backside after watching the latest viral video over in X or Twitter, where there is some jiggle physics going on with her backside, then maybe get this one as well, because this one appears to be based off that scene, the figure pose, right? I think it is. It is still a resin figure in the end, so you're not getting any jiggle physics over here, even if Minion Studio decided to put some silicone in the backside. Anyways, I don't see myself getting this one at all. I'll take the Mietos one, which is incredible with all those screens surrounding her, and that is all I need. Yeah, but Minion Studio did a great job with her face. I think her face looks really good over here. Nothing quite wrong with this one, just that they have stiff competition from a licensed, genuine brand. They should have offered a 1x4, man. At least there is a reason to get this one as well on top of the Mietos version. Yeah, so offer a 1x4, man. 1x6 is not that different from 1x7. Yeah, it is bigger, but is that enough of a reason to get it over the Mietos one? I don't know. Moving on to the next one from Fixed Cast Studio, probably a recast GK from Japan, and it was not too long ago I saw a Japanese GK sculptor complaining about how his or her figures have been counterfeited by Chinese brands, and there is pretty much nothing he can do. I mean, you need to have a lot of money to pursue someone legally in court, to sue someone or whatever it is. In order to do that, first you need to have money yourself. So it is not like these small independent artists or sculptors have the means to pursue these third parties legally, unlike the big corporate companies. That is a sad part. So here we have Jomae Saori from Blue Archive, $221, 1x7 scale, we'll see in December. And the scale is like an obvious red flag to me on why this is a recast, because the Japanese GKs tend to be 1/7 instead of 1x6 scale. Yeah. Looks nice, but probably not their own sculpt, right? Face, everything looks nice to me. Moving on to the next one here, GTI Studio Urawa Hanako from Blue Archive, 1x6 scale, releasing in September for $240. And the most unfortunate part is that this is all you get, no cast off. This is like borderline 18 plus. Well, if you go by the definition of anime figures, right? Cast off means 18 plus. If not customable, it's not 18 plus, even though the figure is barely wearing anything. So websites like Ami put these figures on the front page. As for this Urawa Hanako, body proportions perfect, and the face is also perfect. So I can see how some people will want this figure, because this is the kind of figure where the genuine figure brands won't make. Right? There are no official artwork that looks like this, so they won't do it. If you like her, I suppose that pre-order one. Yeah. GTI Studio though, I've never heard of them, so I can't give any advice on what this brand is like, unfortunately. Moving on to the next one. This is one of my favorite resin figures this week. It looks so classy. It looks luxurious and expensive. Of course, whether the figure turns out to be as good as these pictures over here is another matter altogether. Since this is another brand which I know nothing about, once again. Black Witch Creation Studio, Chen Xing from Snowbreak Containment Zone, $282, releasing in, okay, no release date yet. The face on this is beautiful. The skin looks so realistic. And not to mention, that is incredible photography work coming from their team. So very nice. One of the best figures this week, if not for that Permanent Studio. I think there are different categories. Permanent Studio is licensed stuff. This is unlicensed stuff. So among the unlicensed figures, this is among the nicest looking ones this week. And the last figure is actually a genuine PVC figure. I'm just jumping the gun over here because I want to talk about her briefly. This is from Hobby Sakura and Kuro Games, which means you will be able to find her on pre-order on HLJ and Ami and everywhere else in the coming weeks. Woo-wah! Hobby Sakura is also making Wuthering Waves figures now, and I can't say I'm surprised by it. This is Camellia Meteors series Sanguine, how to pronounce that word? Blossom version. $145. So this is like a 23,000 yen figure, right? Releasing in November 2026. This November, that's pretty quick. Oh, okay, 3D photo frame style figure. This one must have pre-order opened in China, just not in... Yep, a set with this Shorekeeper figure. But the price difference is quite stark. This is a 9,000 yen figure. 9 to 10,000 yen. This is double the price. But very nice. I like it. 3D photo frame figure for like 23,000 yen. I won't lie, I'm kind of tempted, but we will see, right? Too early for me to make a decision right now. So that is all for figure pre-orders this week. This is probably one of the shortest figure news fix videos since late December, I think. I think late December was also longer than this, despite being the last week of the year. You know, Japan and the holidays, but yeah, not many stuff this week. So which figure will you pre-order early or which one will you get after release? Let me know down in the comments below. And once again, in order to show your support for this channel, if you enjoyed this video, please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel. And until then, I'll see you guys soon. Goodbye.